Paul Fortenberry. We'll hear from him. He's the Director of Communications for Clayton Homes. Clayton Homes is the largest builder of manufactured housing and modular homes in the U.S. A born storyteller, Paul Fortenberry has been telling stories, tall tales, and everything in between for most of his life. Please welcome Mr. Fortenberry. Paul?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. We don't have the presentation. So as Mr. Vaughn said, I'm with Clayton. We built over 47,000 off-site construction homes last year, so that means out of our factories, manufactured, modular, tiny, all kinds of things out of our factories. And then we also have 9 site-built traditional home builders across the country, and we'll close on over 7,000 of those homes. And so my topic of discussion is, as we begin to integrate at Clayton, what does it look like to partner our off-site facilities with our on-site builders? What is that conversation in the larger realm? And it was really cool to hear the speakers this morning talk a lot about change and really embracing change and how that can be a vital solution for Americans. And really this graph has been a little bit of a guiding beacon for us the last couple of years at Clayton. If you can't see in the back, it's the average sales price of new single-family homes in the country. The top red line is site-built homes, which I'm sure most of you know is closing in on $400,000. Last year it went over $400,000 a couple of times with material spike. And the yellow line is our cost of manufactured homes. So there's a huge discrepancy there, over $300,000, and that's going to kind of frame this story of what we're trying to do as a company is not only continue what we do at 40 of our home building facilities across the country with the manufactured modular homes, and then with our site-built companies with that price point there, but what do we do to help bridge that gap? How can we create a solution for the millions of people looking for new housing across the country, but that can't maybe afford that, but then maybe have some thoughts that aren't correct about what we do in our facilities. So I want to start off with a story with maybe the most celebrated designer and architect in the history of our country, Frank Lloyd Wright. He has Falling Water, the Johnson Wax Building for S.C. Johnson, the Guggenheim Museum in New York, which looks like a space shuttle plop down there, and then the Robbie House in Chicago. So many people are familiar with it. But maybe his greatest work is Herbert and Catherine Jacobs' home. Everyone's familiar with that, right? No, that's right. So Herbert and Catherine Jacobs, their home is in Madison, Wisconsin, and Herbert was a journalist in the 1930s in the height of the Great Depression, and he had interviewed Frank Lloyd Wright on occasion, and his wife had gotten pregnant, and they needed a new home. And his cousin actually told him, hey, you need to go back to Frank and ask if he'll design a home. And he's like, he does all these extravagant designs and all these incredible buildings. He's not going to do a small home on a $5,000 budget. But his cousin convinced him, go back to him, talk to him, and he did. And Frank said, hey, I would love to take on this project. I'm so excited to do this. I've always wanted to do a single-family home, a small one, because he had this idea of America to be able to provide more affordable housing, but he's just never had the client to do that. And so he built the Jacobs home in Wisconsin. The budget was $5,000. He went over by about $500, and that the money equated to today is $85,000. But I think there would be about 6 asterisks out to the side of it. He had some of his protégés go to one of his other job sites nearby and steal bricks and bring them back. So there are rounded bricks meant for the S.C. Johnson building, I think, in the home. So there's some asterisks to that $5,000 price tag. And he took a huge cut. I think he made $450 instead of his huge price tag that usually goes with it. But what this house did, it was the first of what would end up being known as the Theonian Homes. They were scattered all over the country. There's a big neighborhood in New York with these. But what it was, Frank Lloyd Wright always wanted to, or had this spark about how do we create more affordable housing in the country. And one of his ideas was to use factory-built houses to build out kits or full homes and transport them across the country and have this hub to build them out. And what's cool for this story is that's what we do every day. We have 40 home building facilities across the country. Like I said, we'll build 47,000 homes again this year. And we chose these pictures because I don't think people really know what our homes look like. If you haven't been in a factory-built home in 10, 20 years, or maybe ever, I don't know that we can provide all the modern convenience that people are used to, or that we have the high-end granite quartz countertops. We have the stainless steel appliances. Our bathrooms are great looking as well. So I also wanted to take you guys into one of our home building facilities. This is in East Tennessee, and give you guys kind of an idea of what it looks like to go into one of our home building facilities. If you see where the homes are on that back line, that is called online production. And it goes right down the middle of the home building facility. And then on either side, there are what we call offline mechanisms going on. So you can see they're building walls, and eventually those walls will be transported onto the line to be put onto the house. And so as you can see with some of our material here, we're able to purchase in bulk, which provides us savings as well. We can do things simultaneously, which is a site, on site you have to wait for the slab to go in, then you have to put the framing, and then once framing, you have to rough out. Whereas this, we can be doing multiple processes all at the same time, which increases our efficiencies. So for us, that's one of the big things that we pride ourselves on, our efficiencies. We can build a home between 2 and 5 days. We have one facility in East Tennessee for our very entry-level product. We can build a home from start to finish in 1 day. We do that with the use of some robotics. That's also in that same facility you saw. Automation, so we can carry the walls to different parts of our facilities, or the roof or the flooring system. All of that is automated. It's all carried by cranes within our home building facility. And most of you guys are probably familiar with how long it takes for an on-site construction home to be completed. That averages, I think, of our 9 site builders right now, and they're all production builders. They do some custom work, but most of them are production home builders. Another thing we really pride ourselves on and think we're kind of best in class is waste reduction. All 40 of our home building facilities are ISO 14001 certified, so that means we went through a voluntary certification process with ISO. It's an international standard organization. And so we have vacuums connected to all of our saws in our home building facilities. We have a huge dust collector outside that they all get vacuumed into. If you saw our home building facility, you could tell it's pretty clear. There's not really any dust in there. We're really high on that. We scrap a lot of our materials and recycle it. We're always looking for solutions to recycle anything, drywall, wood, and metal, cardboard, obviously. But then, you go to an on-site construction neighborhood and you drive through it and you see you may see some OSB in the backyard or a leftover pile of bricks, and I always wonder, what happens to that? Does it just get discarded? Do they come back to their home base? So we really pride ourselves on waste reduction and being more efficient with that as well. Quality control, having it in the facility so you're not relying on subs all the time, and you can't really control or manage that aspect of it sometimes. Are they showing up? Are they not showing up? Are they getting done what they say they're getting done? But we're able at every step of the production process to control the environment. So we can check, okay, is step 1 complete? Was it done the way the home was ordered? Step 2, is it built in that quality manner? And we have different processes. We call them the gateway or the boss. Some people are familiar with that. To make sure that at every station the home leaves in a quality manner at the end of the facility. Labor is a huge issue in our sector in terms of home building. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that how hard it is with the trades, that the trade sector isn't expanding, it's shrinking. What's really cool about our home building facilities is we really concentrate on our team member experience. We know our people are our most valuable assets. So we create break rooms like you guys see on the right that we want them to feel like restaurants. We want it to feel like a retreat when they leave the production facility and they have lunch, that it feels like they're in a a new restaurant. That one right there has, I think, 8 TVs in it. They have ESPN and the news on it. We just increased everyone's pay across the board a couple years ago to make it more competitive. We have leadership training where they can come on site to we have a lodge that's built specifically for leadership training. We're always wanting to build our people up because we know they're our most valuable asset. And so we believe that having them in that fixed environment where they're doing the same thing every day, that also increases quality, right? We're not asking them to go to a different job site. We don't know if they're going to show up that day on that job site. And they're having to do custom orders all the time, where if we can have the people in our cabinet shop concentrate on building the greatest cabinets of all time, then they're hopefully going to succeed at that if we give them all the right tools. And what's been really cool as we've really tried to look at this merger between offsite and onsite has to seen all the new companies come into this space. Casita, which she talked about downstairs, out of Arizona, Factory OS in California, Blueprint Robotics in Maryland, Evolution is down in Texas, and Module, he'll actually be speaking, I think this session here in about 30 minutes or 15 minutes. I would encourage you, if you get a chance to talk to him. They do some really cool stuff as well. So there's a ton of capital being poured into this area of off-site building, right? So people see, like she said, that the way building has been done the last 100 years hasn't really changed at all. We kind of have a saying in our company, the only thing that's changed has been the innovation of the nail gun. I mean, everything like that. I've seen one presenter, he put up like, hey, this is what a home was built like when Jesus was born, and here's what a home was built like now, and they're the same pictures. But I think part of that is true, and I love how she encouraged us to collaborate and look for new solutions. I think that's a big opportunity area for us to hit that middle. Okay, so I've kind of bragged on us now about what we can do, but on-site has a ton of great things as well. First is just the design. We sometimes have to stay in that rectangle box, right? Our homes have to be transported down the road, although we have transported some through barge before. But so we have to stay within shipping limitations. And so that limits what we can do with design. And then, some of the great looks that they have, they're always forward thinking. We actually just are about to open a design center at our home office, and we've been stealing designers from the site-built world. So we obviously think very highly of them. The exterior, what they can do with our exterior, a lot of ours have to stay, again, within those dimensions. And whenever we have to build up, we can do, adding boxes on top of one another. But then that's when we start to lose our efficiencies, and site build begins to gain their efficiencies. So when you look at their exteriors, the steeper roof pitches, the different elevations, the depths, the materials, we lose our efficiencies when they bring in some of those features. And then a huge one for us is just the acceptance of the product. We are obviously still fighting our stigma of just trailer homes. We believe we're decades past that and build all kinds of new products, but telling that to the public is hard. Telling that to public officials and getting zoning on board and getting financing on board, all of those are difficulties for our segment. So what we've been really concentrating on is blurring the lines between off-site and off-site. How do we put all these great things that we do, all these great things that on-site do, and really create products and opportunities and solutions for that space, that person that maybe can't afford that on-site home. So what we have proposed is this, what we call a new class of homes. Our whole industry has been working together to provide a solution that combines the best of off-site and on-site and off-site. And the purpose is to bring more affordability to Americans, to democratize attainable housing, to make it available for everyone, increase resale value for our homes, and build equity for all consumers. And the picture, and we'll see some more behind them, is one of the new class homes. So some successes we've already seen with this type of home, where we build part of it in the facility and then we finish it off with maybe a garage or a steeper roof pitch on site. Finance the same as site built. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both have financing programs available for this, MH Advantage and Choice Homes. So that's been a huge win for us, and it's beginning to roll out there, and we're starting to close on some homes with that. Appraise using site-built comps. Really cool story. we just had a neighborhood go in Knoxville, Tennessee with these homes, and the home wasn't appraised at first. It didn't appraise at first for what the buying price was. But then they went back and looked at the Fannie Mae guidelines of how does this home have to be appraised. It needs to be appraised to a site-built or a comparable factory-built, so it has the same of this new class. And then once they went back and were educated, it appraised. And then zoning, we actually got the zoning changed in that neighborhood to allow this new class of homes. So the new class features garages, the steeper roof pitch, the energy efficient enhancement. All of our homes come with Ecobee smart thermostats in it. That's what people are wanting. So when we show them the pictures, this is in that neighborhood in Knoxville, these homes, 46% of people polled with these pictures are willing to buy compared to 9% when you show them manufactured housing as they've seen, just maybe a single wide picture, and you compare it to site built, which was 69%. So 46% of people see this as a great housing solution for them. So we feel like we have this story to tell of what we can, collaborate with on-site, what we do with our facilities. And so we have this marketing campaign going on right now called Prefabulous, really concentrating on that story of, hey, we build these fabulous homes that are energy efficient, they're affordable, and really trying to make it, hey, this is a smart, cool way. Remember that slide of all the different people or the companies that are coming into our sector? And they all think it's a cool way to build homes. And so we're trying to tell that story, and we use some cool things like this. We just had a couple more programs. If you want to Google Clayton Unbuilt or the facility tour, Clayton factory or facility tour, you can see that as well. But this is our commercial that we're showing everyone to talk about our prefabulous homes. So this dream that Frank Lloyd Wright had, in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s to bring more affordable housing through the innovation of on-site and off-site, we're really embracing that. So we're excited to see what comes next. We have a couple of these, like I said, in Knoxville, and hopefully we'll get more out by the end of the year. But that's all for me. Thank you, guys.